Om. 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 Sairam, everyone.
Sairam.
We will be starting a new Vahini today at the request of many members. I think it will be a wonderful Vahini for us from a very practical standpoint. So without further introduction, I will ask Sister Kalyani to post, and then we'll continue.
Yes, Saira. Binding actions and liberating action. Sorry, it's chapter 1, the power of meditation. People have to be doing some action, karma, or other from the moment of waking to the moment of sleeping. That is to say, from birth to death. They cannot sit quietly without doing action. No one can avoid this predicament. But each one has to understand clearly which kind of action to be engaged in. There are only two types: sensory binding actions, Vishaya karmas, and two actions that liberate, Shrayo karmas. The acts that bind have increased beyond control. As a result, sorrow and confusion have increased. Through these, no happiness and peace of mind can be gained. On the other hand, the actions that liberate yield progressive joy and auspiciousness with each single act. They give bliss to the self, Atmananda, and are not concerned with mere external joy. Though the acts may be external, the attraction is all toward the internal. This is the right path, the true path.
Thank you very much, Sister. So Swami is talking about action which actually fills our days. And Swami has categorized them into two categories. One is what relates to the world, the Vishaya karmas, or things of this world, and then things which takes us forward towards liberation, Shreya karmas. And so I think they're reasonably self-explanatory. I don't think there's much for me to add. If anyone has any comments to share, please go ahead. I guess it's more of an introductory section, so we can, if anyone has any questions, we can discuss. Otherwise, we will move on to the next slide, Sister.
Ram, are we going to discuss these sensory actions and the actions that liberate differently, or it will be elaborated at a later stage? Thank you, Sarah.
I think Swami is discussing them in some manner or other, brother. But if there are any specific questions related to what has been stated, I think we could discuss. I think in the Telugu version, actually, Swami even calls it poison. That the worldly actions can be considered even poisonous, is what Swami says. And other than that, I don't have anything to add. Anyone else would like to comment or say anything?
Shall I read out the Telugu version, Arun?
Yes, Auntie, thank you very much.
Saira.
So, sorry, just for everyone's benefit, Auntie Manibashyam, who has been a follower of Swami for a long time, is fluent in Tamil, Telugu, and English. So she lives in London, Ontario, but she has been willing to join our study circle, and she will read out the Telugu piece, and she will also be able to explain any of the words. Sairam, Auntie, please go ahead.
విషయములకు ప్రాధాన్యమిచ్చుట విషమునకు ప్రాధాన్యమిచ్చుటే. Giving importance to the karmas which we do out of our senses, sensory binding actions, is equivalent to giving prominence to poison. That's what Swami says. So actually what Swami is trying to tell us is about Shreyo Marga and Preyas. Shreyas and Preyas, what we have come across. Preyas is the actions which we do just to satisfy our senses. And Shreyas is the good actions which will liberate us. That's what Shreyo Karma, Vishaya Karma. Vishaya Karma is Preyas Marga. That's what we have heard about. And nothing else. I don't have to say anything. Saira.
Thank you very much, Auntie.
Just a question, when it comes to Vishaya Karma and Shreyo Karma, does it relate just to the actual action or also the motive and the intent? Like if we do good actions, like pujas or going to the bhajans, but if we have like a result in mind, or some sort of benefit in mind, or even the thought that we're getting punya, like is that still considered Shreyo Karma?
Thank you, sister. So I think your question, let me just try to see whether I understood the question, so I will rephrase them. What you're saying is asking about any rituals or prayers which we indulge in. You're asking whether they come under the category of Shreyo Karmas, or they also fall under the Vishaya Karma. That's what you was asking. From what I understand, the intent is very important, because sometimes we may do even prayers wishing for worldly benefit. So I don't think they may be construed as Shreyo Karmas, because we are actually indulging in those activities. Even if they're prayers or pujas or yajnas, they are based on some desire or some wish related to some worldly success, worldly achievement. So I think they may fall under category one, is my understanding. But some people may feel that because the fact that you are praying to God, that has a certain Shreyo element also. I think that's my understanding, but I will open it up for discussion by the members. And Auntie Mani also can say what you feel is.
Intention behind any karma is very important. Of course, you are doing a punya karma by doing rituals, by doing puja and other things. But if your intention is to get some desire fulfilled, there is some selfishness also involved, I feel. Arun?
And that's what I also thought, Auntie. But okay. Yes, thank you. Anyone else would like to share your thoughts, please?
So in the meantime, if the intention is for the betterment of the world, that's should be considered as a Shreya Karma, right? The action that the desire is that, okay, betterment of the world in the sense that the disease should be get rid of, or the people should live better. So some calamity coming up in the different parts of the world. So in that circumstances, so those we are praying to God. So those are part of the Shreyas Karma, I think. It's not a Vishaya. The intention is not for the selfish purpose, but for the betterment of the world. Is that correct or no?
Yeah, so it's a very good question, brother. I will pass it to the other members who are there around at the meeting session to also opine. At this point in time, it's all of our understanding. And if Swami may clarify it further, but I think it's a very valid question, but I will not comment at this point in time. I will ask others to share their point of views, because ultimately it's a point of view also. Sai Ram. Anyone?
So Sai Ram, brother.
Yes.
So we born to this world because of the karma. So this Atma is it has to gain some experience through karma, to action, to liberate. So that's what Swami teaching so many good things in order to liberate the Atma. So that's all I can tell. So up to you all, what kind of, if you all do according to the Dharma, you can liberate faster. Thank you, Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, brother. Thank you. Anyone else would like to share your thoughts, please?
Sai Ram, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. It looks that Brother Arul's statement that if the prayer is for the good of the people, definitely it is something that will liberate ourselves ultimately. For the present being, it might not look like Shreyo Karma, because action that liberate, but it is a step to liberate ourselves. So we are on the path of liberation by doing prayers for the good of the world, and it is not sensory as well. It is not sensory as well, no? So intention is towards liberation. So it could be categorized as Shreyo karmas. That's what I feel. But it is in the middle sometimes. No, it could be in the middle. Vishaya karma and Shreyo karma, middle of that. But definitely it is inclined towards Shreyo karma, liberating karma. That's what I am thinking. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you. Anyone else would like to add anything, please?
Sai Ram, brother, I think any actions comes from your heart, I will say is a Shreya karma. Maybe you are doing some service for everyone, but if your heart is not there, then that action will come as a Vishaya karma. That's my thinking is. Thank you, Sai Ram.
Thank you very much, sister. Thank you.
Sai Ram, whatever action we are doing that without expectation, that's selfless service. Like this goes to Shreya karma. That's the brother says that we are praying for others. That goes directly to that Shreya karma, I guess. And also sometimes Swami do that jatnyas, Then this goes to Shreya karmas, I guess, that Swami do that jatnyas for the welfare of the world. That goes to Shreya karma, I guess. Sai Ram.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, brothers. Thank you. I think we have discussed fairly well. I think we can move on to the next slide, sister.
Actions that bind include all activity in relation to exterior objects. Such actions are usually resorted to with a desire for the result. This craving for the results leads one to morass of I and mine, and the demon of lust and greed. If one follows this path, there will be sudden flares, as when clarified butter, ghee, is poured in the sacrificial fire. Assigning priority to sense objects, Vishaya, is the same as assigning importance to poison, Visha. But while engaged in those activities and in those sense objects, if one has no interest in the result or consequence, then not only can one be victorious over the feelings of I and mine, greed and lust, one can also be far away from all such traits. One will never be troubled by such traits. Liberating action is pure, faultless, unselfish, and unswerving. Its characteristics is the importance given to the idea of action without any desire of the fruits thereof, Nishkama Karma, which was elaborated in the Gita. The practice of this discipline involves the development of truth, righteousness, peace, and love, Satya, Dharma, Shanti, and Prema. While on this path, if one also takes up the discipline of remembering the name of the Lord, where else can one acquire more joy and bliss? It will give the fullest satisfaction.
Thank you very much, sister. As we can see, Swami has sort of elaborated on some of the points which were already brought up by the members. And Swami goes on to explain them a little more. And he has also introduced the concept of Nishkama Karma, that's without desire, action without desire for the fruits. So that's all I have to say. I will let the members, participants share any thoughts or comments you have. Saira.
Sorry, brother. I want to take you back to the previous passage that we were reading, and then the last paragraph. Though the acts may be external, the attraction is all towards the internal. This is the right path, the true path. What does that mean, sir? I couldn't grasp the idea on this. Sairam.
Sairam, brother, Sairam. Thank you. I will just say what I think I understand, but others can chime in. I think, brother, even the Swami uses the word head in the forest, hands in the society. Okay, so basically that's what it's because even though we are working and we're serving in this society, our head should be somewhere, at least one with the Atman. When Swami says internal, I think Swami is referring to the Antaratma or the Atman within us. So as long as our view, our goal is the internal Atman, then I think that's what Swami is saying. That because real Shreya Karma would be such that even though we are active in this society, in the external world, our view, our vision is towards the Atman. And that's what I understand, but I will open it up for any other members to come and please.
Thank you, brother.
So Kalyan, you can move the slide, I think. Anyone wants to say anything here? I think Swami has also introduced the concept of remembering the name of the Lord. I think Swami is slowly paving the way for Dhyanam, that remembering the Lord, remembering the name of the Lord. And he says, along with action, we should always do that. I think that's something which Swami has introduced here, which we have not discussed. I thought I would just point that out. If anyone has anything to say, we'll pause for a few seconds and then move on if there's no one speaking up. Okay, sister, I think we will move on.
If one treads this holy path, the Lord himself will bestow all that is needed, all that is deserved, and all that will give peace of mind. Offer everything to the Lord without any desire for the result. That indeed yields full joy. That is indeed the easiest. While it is very difficult to speak untruth and act against Dharma, it is very easy to utter the truth and walk in the path of Dharma. It is very pleasant task to speak out the things just as it is. One need not spend a moment of thought upon it. To speak of what is not, one has to create the non-existent. That plunges one into fear and fantasy, in an atmosphere of restlessness and worry. So instead of following sensory actions, Vishaya Karma, which offer all these troubles and complications, follow actions that liberate, Shrayo Karma, the path of Atmic bliss, Atmananda Marga, which is true, eternal, and holy. The best means for following liberating action is meditation, Dhyana. Today, people with newfangled ideas argue how meditation is to be done and even why it should be done, but they know neither its taste nor its purity. That is why there is so much criticism and cynical laughter. My present intention is to instruct such people. Therefore, I am revealing this.
Thank you very much, sister. So as we can see, the whole thing is an introduction which Swami is laying out so that he could talk about dhyana. And I think Swami has touched on truth and dharma here, because he says if we follow the path of dharma, there should not be any problem in leading a peaceful life. The mind would be relaxed, at peace. So also, if we speak the truth, Swami says the mind will never be agitated through worry and restlessness. So again, Swami is talking about how we have to lead a certain life in order to even get to the place where we can meditate. I think this seems to be like prerequisites for us to meditate, because without following these instructions, our attempt at meditation may be a bit more challenging, or may not fructify, or it will not bear any good results. That's what I sort of understood, but I will open it up for the members here to share your thoughts, please. Sairam.
Sairam, it is very interesting in the second paragraph. Swami tells us the prerequisites is the truth and the dharma. Those are the two basic fundamental things we should have in order to get into the meditation. I also thought love also is a very important value Swami introduced in order to get into the meditation or the dhyana state. Why Swami maybe in maybe the later maybe the next or the even couple of pages later, Swami may introduce love, but here Swami just indicate that truth and the dharma, those are the two are fundamental for the dhyana. So I'm not yet read the other pages or anything, but I was wondering myself, everything, love is a very important part of the values we should be having. First of all, we should love ourselves, and we also should love all other creatures in the world. Then only we can move anything towards the internal activity or the external activity. That is the only point I really noticed about this this particular passage. The important thing Swami tells that truth and the dharma is the basic element to get into dhyana. Thank you, Sairam.
Sairam, sister, thank you very much. I will open it up for participants to comment or share your thoughts on what Sister Ananthi has sort of pointed out or asked.
Sairam, actually Bhagawan is saying that when we flout when we trespass the dharmic principle or truth, satyam and dharma. So satya and dharma, when we break, we feel unhappiness, restlessness, worry. So we have to stick to Satya and Dharma at any cost. That is the basic principle anywhere and everywhere. So when we break, say when we do adharmic activities, then we are restless. Then how can the meditation can take place? So if I say a lie, if I steal, if I break the code, societal code principles, and those things that if I am doing, then my mind cannot be at peace, and dhyana will be far away. That's what Bhagavan is saying, that to stick to the Satya and Dharma in preparation for meditation. This is what I feel, but others can share their thoughts too. Thank you, Saira.
Sairam, I think the Satya Dharma is related to like the mind control. So in order to meditate, you have to have a peace of mind. For that, I think when it shouldn't be any agitation or anxiety or this, that is always affected by the untruth. So if you are maintaining always the truth part, then your mind will be peace of mind. So that will, so Sat is a God, so it will allow you to concentrate. That's my understanding on this. Thank you, Sairam.
Anyone else would like to? Sairam.
Sairam, I think, no, I'm thinking, I don't know, it is according to Patanjali, Atanga Yoga, it's Yama Niyama comes first, and then the other things follow to lead to meditation. So maybe Swami is trying to say that this Satya and Dharma and all comes under Yama and Niyama. So maybe that is why Swami saying it as a prerequisite for meditation. Sairam.
Sairam, thank you very much, brother. Anyone else would like to share any thoughts, please?
Ram, can it be also the unity in thought, word, and deed, or purity and unity? Because we speak, but we have to speak what we think. That is speaking the truth, and also acting deeds should be related to what we speak. We can't do something else and talk something else. So it is the purity. It is natural. Speaking the truth and acting along to that truth is natural. It is very difficult to, Swami says, it's very difficult to speak untruth and act against that dharma. So it is natural. Our divine heart, free flow, we will speak truth and act along with dharmic principles. Again, to ponder on the unity in purity of thought, word, and deed. That gives us good results in our meditation. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, brother. Anyone else would like to add anything?
I just had, I guess, to clarify, I think if I understood Auntie Anandi's question correctly, I think, were you asking why Swami has not mentioned love here instead of, because he has mentioned Satya and Dharma as prerequisites, but not love.
Yes, exactly. I thought the ultimate, the reason we meditate, it is to experience the ultimate bliss or ananda in ourselves, so even we speak truth and act, according to the all kind of dharmas, still in my point, the love element also should be there if we really experience, if we really want to experience the utmost stage of ananda in the meditation. That's the only I don't object, or I don't deny, the truth and dharma, is not that important or anything. In my point is, in order to experience the dhyana or the meditation or the ananda or the bliss, the love element also should be here. Then only we can experience the bliss stage or the ananda stage in that meditation. That is my point. I agree with all of you. Definitely the truth and the dharma should be there as a founding, the basic foundation. In addition to those two, in my point of personal view, I also think the love element also is an important part to pave into the meditation route. Yeah, thank you, Sai.
I guess based on that question, I just had a comment. I think Swami has said that love as speech is truth and love as action is right conduct. And Swami also refers to everybody as prema swarupa. So I don't know, maybe love is more kind of equivalent to atma, or love is that state of being, whereas truth and dharma are like the rules and the guidelines that we can use to get to that state. So those are just my 2 cents. And also, I just had a further question, because Swami's saying it's easy to speak the truth and act according to Dharma. But I find that that's the opposite. I feel like sometimes it is a harder path to choose the path of Dharma. Sometimes it feels it's easy to get angry, or it's easy to just, let our emotions out. I feel it's harder actually to say the truth sometimes, or to act according to Dharma.
Sai Ram, I also thought, when I look at the very first, the close of the second paragraph, I thought, it's very difficult to act according to Dharma. These days, maybe older days, it could be like this, but nowadays, it's easy to act against Dharma, but it's very difficult to act in accordance to Dharma. I agree with the Sister Kalyani's point. These days, it is very easy to act against Dharma, but very difficult to act in accordance with Dharma. That is also, it's a really good point here, the Sister Kalyani, they brought in. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sister. I think Auntie Sakhu wanted to say something. Auntie Sakhu.
Yeah, Sai Ram, love is the undercurrent of Satya, Dharma, Shanti, Prema. It is the undercurrent of all these 4. Love in action, love in truth, all this comes, it's embedded in it. So Baba didn't leave out love. All the 4 values, undercurrent is love. So I think we have to clear that in our mind and do the meditation. Thank you, Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, Auntie. And does anyone else have something to say, please?
Sairam, there was a point brought up it's easy to act against Dharma. I think at any point of time, going against Dharma is hard. That's my viewpoint. Because adharmic way is hard because I don't think that's easy. Telling truth, you always remember. Just for an example, if you lie, you will forget, so you will get into trouble. So always truth is easy to go on your path instead of adharmic way. I think this is my thought. Thank you, Sairam.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sairam. For my point is here, we are studying how to do dhyana, but Swami's instruction. I don't think it's easy, hard, and we say like that. Practice is whatever Swami says, the way he advises us to do practice. Some people may it be easy, some people it's hard. The common thing is we have to follow the instruction, whatever Swami says, what we study here. And also for the truth and the thing, Dharma, if we don't do the both the right way, we don't get the peace. Then we don't get the bliss and love and everything. Is everything interconnected like a Sago and it says. I think what is easy, what is hard, we don't have to think about that. Whatever Swami says, at least we try to follow the instruction. Then one point we will get into that. Sairam.
Thank you very much.
For doing dhyana, it is very necessary that the purified mind should be there. Without any agitation, without any restlessness, if the mind is there, then you can do the dhyana. Swami is slowly introducing us, if you follow the path of Satya and Dharma, truth and the righteous action, your mind will be guilty-less. So you're pure there. Your mind can concentrate. Now the next question will be, you can slowly concentrate, and then the next step is what is it? Concentration and
contemplation.
Contemplation, and the third one is the meditation. So for contemplation and first concentration is needed. So we have to follow these two methods first. Automatically the Shanti and Prema and everything will come later on. The basic qualities Satya, if you follow, the rest of the 5 values will automatically come to us. That's what I feel. Even as somebody mentioned about Ashtanga Yoga of Patanjali, there also Yama, that means Satya Dharma. First follow, then Dhyana, Dharana and Samadhi. It comes at the end. So for Dhyana, it is very necessary to follow these two, first of all, the principles, and let us purify our mind. Then we can concentrate. Saira.
Thank you very much, Auntie. Thank you. Anyone else has something to say, please? So I think thanks for it.
All the participants have given us a very valid points here. I also want to add my penny here on this one, because if you don't have that love, like Sister Saku was mentioning, if you don't have love, you wouldn't be acting on a dharmic way, and if you don't have love, you wouldn't in a truthful manner. So that's those under embedded into this. So we don't have to dwell on those part of love part here. I think that the basic important part is the righteousness and the dharma and the truth. Those are the 2 points that we have to consider. I think that will in the eventually we will lead into the other aspects of the thing. And because if you have all these aspects, the mind is not agitated. That's the most important part, that we have to make sure our mind is not agitated. That's my penny for this one. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, brother. I just wanted to add a couple of points, and then we could move on. I think so. In the first paragraphs which we read, and even the first paragraph in this slide, Swami is talking about offering everything to the Lord. So there is this, we would not offer it to anyone without love. But I think that is the ultimate goal of the understanding love. And how we use it, I think, is what Swami is trying to take us through. Because Swami says we all are blessed with love. And what the wrong thing which we do is we let it flow towards the world. When that love flows towards the world, there's attachment to the sense, through the senses, to people and whoever we think is ours. But instead of making that love flow through that into sensory pleasures, Swami wants us to make that flow to God. But to get to that point, first, as everyone has pointed out, we need to have the vessel ready to do the cooking, and so that the mind can start to focus on the right place and then make the love flow. So we are unable to do that because of other impediments. We are unable to even control the mind and take charge of this flow of love and make it flow towards God. There are many things which come in the way, and I think that is one of the reasons Swami is clearing the hurdles which we could face. I think that's what I also understand. But thanks to everyone for sharing your thoughts, please. Sairam, and we could proceed, Sister Kalyani, if it's okay. I hope people who have asked the question, and I think everyone's question has been answered, at least to the extent possible. But I think we'll continue on. Okay, Sai.
Taming the mind and the intelligence. See, everyone in the world has the nature of behaving and acting in two different ways, one outside and another inside. This is known to all, though generally people do not show this publicly. Just as people lose even the little joy that they have worrying over the fractions they may have in their family, so they lose their internal peace when faced with physical obstacles and troubles. For example, consider a cart. It cannot move by itself, can it? It can move only when two bullocks are yoked to it, and the cart can move safely only when the bullocks are trained to pull carts and when they are used to the road on which they have to walk. Instead, if they are ignorant of the process of pulling carts, if they have not walked on the road, if they have never stepped out of their shed, or if they have always moved only round and round the post to which they have been tied in their own mire, the journey cannot proceed, and the cart will itself face danger. So also the inner consciousness, the antakarana, cannot move of itself. It must be attached to the externally related bullocks, the intelligence, buddhi, and mind, manas. Then only can it move forward following the bullock's tracks.
Sairam, sister. Thanks. So so Swami is sort of in the past also Swami has talked about externally faced actions and internally centered mind. Swami is continuing that theme, and he's talking about how we tame the bullocks which will take us forward. And I think the bullocks Swami is saying are the buddhi and manas. And we had somehow trained them so that they can walk this path in the external world, so that the internal journey is not impeded or damaged in any sense. And that's what I have a cursory understanding of this, but I will open it up for discussion by the members. Saira.
Sorry, Ram. I just wonder if someone can explain a bit more that metaphor. So if buddhi and manas are the two bullocks, and then Swami is saying that if they are ignorant of the process of pulling carts and all of those four different things he's saying, what do each of those mean in the metaphor? So I guess if they're ignorant, so if we don't even know about the way to reach God, maybe that's what that is referring to, but I don't know if that could be explained a bit further.
Okay, thank you very much, sister. Anyone willing to, share your comments or thoughts about this question? How does this buddhi and manas, they extend the bullocks? How are they to be trained, or what do they lack in, as said, as told by Swami in the second paragraph? Can anyone share your thoughts, please? So that's it. Okay, anyone? I thought someone.
Sai Ram, yeah. Maybe the buddhi and the manas, in my view, maybe our thoughts and words should be aligned in order to move, this simultaneously. If the thought is one way and the words are in another way, then it wouldn't be synchronized. So it would be in the opposite way, or it could be in a different angle. So then, then even if you try to go straight, it wouldn't go in a straight path. It would maybe, here and there, and it wouldn't reach easily where we want to go. Maybe the intelligence and the menace, in my view, maybe according to my knowledge, I thought maybe thoughts and the words, it should be synchronized. That's the importance. Maybe Swami would have given us a buddhi and the manas should be two bullocks. These two should go in a synchronized way to straight. Then only we can reach the destination easily. That's my little thoughts on this one. Thank you, Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, I think the auntie can read the Telugu version of the last paragraph, the buddhi and manas part. Maybe people will understand. I think Swami pointing out a different way. Sai.
Touching.
Sai Ram, brother.
Sai Ram. Sri Karma. మనోబుద్ధలను అంతఃకరణముతో సంధించి పరమాత్మ వైపు నడిపించు ధ్యానము. What Swami is saying is, manas and buddhi should be connected with the antahkarana, inner consciousness.
So, auntie, sorry to bother. Maybe the preceding paragraphs, auntie.
Preceding paragraph.
Both paragraphs.
Chudu like that's.
Bullock cart.
ఇందుకు బులక్ కార్ట్ అదిదా పడిచిండ్రికేన్. ఇందుకు ఒక ఉదాహరణము, ఒక బండి ఉన్నది, అది కెన్ ఐ రీడ్ దిస్ వన్, దట్ పారాగ్రాఫ్?
yes auntie, yes.
ఇందుకు ఒక ఉదాహరణము, ఒక బండి ఉన్నది, అది తనంతట తానే కదలలేదు కదా, దానికి రెండు ఎద్దులు కట్టినప్పుడే అది కదలగలదు. ఆ ఎడ్లకు అప్పుడప్పుడు బండిని లాగు అభ్యాసము, ఆయా రోడ్లలో ప్రయాణము చేయున అభ్యాసం ఉండిన ఆ బండి తగు జాగ్రత్తగా ప్రయాణము చేయును. So what Swami is here saying is, so we have to give the training to those bullocks, to those two bullocks, to how to draw the cart, how to travel on the road. So that the cart is carefully, it will take us to the exact destination. అట్లుగాక బండిలాగుటే తెలియక తాను ప్రయాణము జరపవలసిన మార్గములో నడువక, ఇల్లు వదిలి బయటికి పోక, గాడి చుట్టూ తిరుగుచు గంజ కంపలతో తిరుగుచున్న ఎట్లను బండిని కట్టిన ప్రయాణము సాగకుండాయే కాక, bandiki apayamu sambhavinchuno. So that's what Swami is here saying. If the cart the cart has to move safely, that we have to train them with proper guidance. If they're not stepped out of their shed at all, and they're, in the habit of tying the bullock to a pole in the middle, and then so that the bullock doesn't go away. So what they do is they just tie it in the pole in the middle, and then the bullock goes round and round and round. So that's all it knows. Unless it knows the proper way, unless it is trained how to travel on a particular road and the familiar surroundings, then your travel cannot be safe. That's what Swami is saying. And so the inner consciousness should be able to guide the intelligence, buddhi and manas, so that our travel will be smooth. Very important part of it is buddhi and manas, they may go here and there. So the antakarana, inner conscious, should be tied to it, so that it goes in the proper road, it travels on the proper path.
Sairam, brother.
Yes.
Thank you, Auntie.
Sairam, brother. In this case, the manas and buddhi, Sister Anandi has mentioned, there's thoughts and words. Is going with that, Swami, what Swami is trying to say, brother?
So, see, I think, sorry.
I think it goes with that manas and buddhi, words and thoughts. Going with that, Swami, what is trying to tell us, because in order to go straight, if both our words and thoughts are different, then you cannot make it. So that's what Swami trying to tell us, to be on the straight line. Thank you, Sairam.
Sairam, sister. Maybe I will just say something and others can chime in. I think with the introduction of the topic of truth, Swami has talked about the variance between thought and word. So there, if the word is not united with the thought, then there's a problem with truth. But in this case, my understanding is Swami only talks about the functioning of the buddhi and the mind, which is essentially thoughts. Buddhi has this ability to discriminate. So what happens is which is right, which is wrong, which is permanent, which is impermanent. But Swami also has in other places talked about buddhi. Sometimes we use the buddhi in a selfish manner. What is good for us? What is bad for us? So sometimes all the intelligence, this discrimination itself is used with us and our benefits as the sole purpose. So that means that is in the Vishaya Marga, or the worldly discrimination. Whereas what Swami is talking about is this discrimination should be traveling the path of Atmananda, okay, or the bliss of the Atman. So the thing is, that is a path which this buddhi has never traveled on. In that, the only question the buddhi will be spending time on is to know, will this take me forward towards the Lord? In every action, every analysis should be based on that. But that is a path generally buddhi is not trained. Number one. Number two, mind, if you take, that has this tendency of going after the senses. So that also runs away here and there behind the senses. So that is also not trained to run after God. So I think, so that is the training I think Swami is talking about. Because what happens is when we work on these worldly related activities, sometimes we go around and round. The discrimination will say something, then the mind will say, no, I don't want that. And there is confusion between the intelligence and the discrimination and the mind, buddhi and the manas. So I think that is where Swami is talking about, because ultimately, from what I can sort of guess, these are the disciplines which are necessary for meditation. So Swami is going to, I think, start talking about how do we train these two bullocks. That's my understanding. So I will stop here. If anyone has something to say, please say so.
Sai Ram, that is the right explanation, brother. Yeah, the Swami was talking about Sai Ram.
Silence. So anyone else would like to share any other thoughts, please?
Sai Ram, brother. And I think the original Kalyani's question is not answered. It looks like now what the cart. It looks the cart represent Antakarana, inner consciousness. What is inner consciousness after all? Because we Antakarana we say manas, buddhi, sittam, ahankara. So here inner consciousness, does it mean the Atma or the Jiva, or we are not clear about what is inner consciousness, which is compared to the cart. So the can anybody or brother, can you think about it?
Okay.
Sai Ram, I think Andakarana means consciousness. When buddhi and manas are helped or directed by the consciousness, inner consciousness, there is no deviation from the right path. So we be led towards God only. That means we have to led by the inner consciousness. Andakarana, I think, according to this, I feel it is inner consciousness. Inner consciousness is God's consciousness. It is the individual consciousness and the cosmic consciousness are the same. But when we act according to the consciousness, we might not go wrong. In that case, buddhi and manas, when led by inner consciousness, I feel we will not deviate from the right path. Thank you, Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, I agree with you. The inner consciousness has an inherent values of 5 human values. It has the values in it, and the inner consciousness is using the bullock cart and the bullocks to reach its destination. So the master here should be the inner consciousness. I understood that way. I don't know whether I'm right. Can you please explain? Thank you.
Sai Ram, in the Telugu, the sister Manibhashya, can she check what is exactly how it goes in Telugu, that small paragraph? So also the inner consciousness cannot move of itself. It must be attached to the external. That 3 lines or whatever, that small paragraph. Can she exactly can she exactly translate how it goes in Telugu?
Actually, she read it out in the beginning, and she mentioned Antakarana. There are 2.
Sai Ram, can I add this? Please let me know if I'm not right. Inner consciousness is a divine quality, and it cannot be achieved or it cannot be realized if the buddhi and manas are aligned. Am I right?
Sai Ram, I think in Tamil சொல்றதா இருந்தா பாலாண்டி சொன்ன மாதிரி அந்த கன்சர்ஷனஸ் தான் மனச்சாட்சி, அந்த கடவுளை நாங்கள் அடையறதுக்கு புத்தியும் மனசும் வந்து ரெண்டும் ஒன்றா இணையாட்டிக்கு நாங்கள் அது ரெண்டும் அந்த வண்டியிலுண்ட ஒரு 2 சில்லுகள், அது ரெண்டும் ஒன்றா போய் ஒரே சமநிலையில போகாட்டிக்கு நாங்கள் கடவுளை அடைய மாட்டோம். அதான் நான் தமிழ்ல விளங்கி கொண்டேன். சாய்ராம்.
Sairam, I have the Tamil version in my hand, the Tamil book, but it doesn't say anything about inner consciousness. It just அதே போல அந்த கரணமும் தானாக இயங்காது. அதற்கு வெளியில் உள்ள புத்தி மனம் என்னும் காளைகளுடன் அது கட்டப்பட வேண்டும். அப்போதுதான் அது காளை செல்லும் வழியில் முன்னேறி செல்லும். There's no mention of inner consciousness in the Tamil translation. So I would like to know exactly how it is in the, I didn't in the Telugu version. I don't know, Sister Mani version can check it.
Same. Then
Sairam auntie.
அந்த கரண அந்த தமிழ் வெர்ஷன்ல போட்டிருக்கும் தானே
Andakarana is there, but no nothing equivalent to inner consciousness in Tamil version.
In Telugu also, Swami doesn't say Antakaranamuలు tamantuku tamu kadalavu. Antakarana cannot move on its own. They need the support of this వాక్య సంబంధమైన ఎట్లు కట్టినప్పుడు అది దాని అనుసరించి నడుచును. So the antakarana will follow the buddhi and manas. That's what it says in Telugu.
So that makes it clear. Only in English,
it is inner consciousness.
It shouldn't be there. Inner consciousness is not in the original, not in the Tamil. Only in English, it has come.
Correct. The consciousness.
That is the confusion. Otherwise, it's clear.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sairam.
Arun?
Yes, auntie.
Excuse me. Actually, here Antakarana, what we have understood is Mana, Buddhi, Ahankara, Chitta. That is Antakarana. But here, what Swami is trying to tell us, Antakarana should be attached to Buddhi and Manas. What is Swami saying here?
So, I think the Swami actually talks about this in the, I think in Sandeha
Nivarani also we came across.
So he has already discussed it actually, if anyone has been present. See, Swami says that the entire inner instrument is Antakarana.
Yeah, any instrument.
The whole gamut of inner instrument is Antakarana. Swami starts with Sandeha Nivarani, says Antakarana is one. But then he goes on to say there are certain functions of the Antakarana, like Manas, Buddhi, Chittam and Ahankara. But the thing is, the Antakarana, the inner self, if you want to put it, which the Atman operates through. The Atman is operating through Manas, Buddhi, Chittam, Ahankaram. Those are 4 functions. But there is a thing through which it operates, and Swami calls in Sandeha Nivarani as Antakarana. So you can say, because according to Swami, the Atman, the consciousness doesn't act. It is only a witness.
It's a witness. It's
just a witness. But the thing is, in our separated existence, there's an inner instrument which is deriving its energy from that Atman, but it is pointed towards the external world where the mind is taking it outside. So from that, we have to turn that mind and move towards the Atman. So I understand. So the thing is, if you take the bullock cart, the cart is also something which is not the person who is inside.
Body. Cart can be compared to body.
Yes. So the cart is, this whatever instrument we have inside, that has to travel towards its ultimate destination of God. So the thing, that's why Swami has used the word Antakarana. Swami has not used the word Jivatma or consciousness or anything like that. So I think everyone is right. And it is good that, Swami is blessing that auntie you are here to also add, to complement us with your Telugu knowledge. So Swami is only using about Antakarana, the inner instrument, the inner person. You can even say inner person, the inner body. So if it's our inner body is there, just like our hands are there, feet are there, there's Manas, Buddhi, Chittam, all of them do different functions. So that what Swami says is these are running after external objects, or they are not trained to travel towards Atman, and we have to turn them, train them, control them, and move on that journey is what I understand. Others, I don't know, that's my understanding. Others could complement.
Sairam, Swami is bring us auntie to the right time in the right study circle to explain to the Antakarana. I think Telugu version is right time is we studying. Sairam.
Thank you, brother. I don't know, it makes sense, and so it is clear now that the inner consciousness of antakarana. By antakarana, it means some sort of image, the image of Atma, yeah, some jiva aspect also. So it can move when buddhi and manas are pulling in the right direction. Yeah, thank you, sir.
I think inner instrument is a better translation because inner consciousness.
Yeah, correct.
Karana is instrument, inner instrument. That would be better. That would be a better translation.
Yeah. So yeah, there's sometimes in some other book Baba say knower.
So Sairam.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
I think, I don't know.
Sairam. Sairam.
Okay, Sairam auntie, speak up.
Sairam. So the Atma is different, the inner instrument is different?
Yeah.
That's our understanding, because the journey is towards the Atman, auntie. That is what our understanding is.
So the inner.
I think,
yeah.
Brother Vimalesan also wanted to say something.
Yeah, I just came across something related to this even this morning. So I'm just saying, but you had to clarify or discuss. But the real witness is, it doesn't involve in anything, but what we think as, no, when I say I am conscious or I am awareness, that consciousness, that awareness is the reflected consciousness, like sun reflecting on a mirror.
Yeah.
What we think, say, even sometime, okay, some bad thing happens, I am thinking that is whatever we experience, not we are the witness. The experience, whatever, like Swami shows the hanky or whatever, a thing or whatever is experience. So when we say I am sad, I am depressed, so the depression or sadness is nothing to do with the ultimate witness within us, the Atman.
Yeah.
But in the same way, when we say I am peaceful, it's same again. That is only an experience. The real Atman is it won't. If we say we experience peace, then again that also. But the real peace, is the nature of the Paramatma or Atman. That is so. Here also, that's what I think the reflected consciousness is what we say conscious, but the real witness or Atman, that cannot be experienced. So here maybe that kind of the inner consciousness, maybe the reflect, maybe that I'm just thinking it could be the Swami didn't use that word, I guess, in the Telugu. So it says, but so maybe the one who translate the inner consciousness instead of inner reflected consciousness.
Yeah, that's right. Brother Aruno explained it. Yeah, that's Brother Venison. Then you are correct. So the here inner conscious, instead of inner consciousness, it would have been better inner instrument. Inner instrument means the reflected status of the Atman. So
exactly.
That is pulled by correctly. If the intelligence and manas are in good mode, it has to pull it.
So that has to be directed on the right way by buddhi and manas. Because the following paragraph, Swami mentioning that buddhi and manas has to be trained to do jabam, namasmaranam, God's name, instead of involving in worldly matters. So then only you can do dhyana. So it goes like that.
Sairam. Sairam, I just wanted to say something on the last paragraph. The inner consciousness, it tells you cannot move itself. Isn't it the Atma? We always say is the Atma is the witness, and it remains as it is. Which one is referred to as an Atma? Cannot move. And the Atma, we wanted to merge with the God. That's where the two bullocks is coming as a Buddhi and Manas. And that's what we are trying to understand, if the Buddhi and Manas's words and thoughts, or what it is. Kind of little bit of discussion went on. Is that the what we are all in the same page, or it's a different thing we are now discussing on the inner consciousness? The inner consciousness is Atma. That's the way I'm understanding from the last paragraph. Thank you.
So, sister, maybe I will just comment on it. In one of the Vahinis, it's a slight digression, but I thought it's a relevant digression, so I will mention it. In one of the Vahinis, Swami is talking about when we die, what goes with us. And in that, Swami says, even if you take the mind, Manomaya Kosha, so there we have mind, then we have Buddhi, Manas, we have Buddhi, then we have Chittam and Ahankaram. Swami says the Chittam and Ahankaram actually belong to the causal body. So the thing is that if you take this inner instrument, Buddhi and Manas are only couple of functions of this inner instrument. Then there is Chittam, and there is this concept of Ahankaram. They are only operating through mind and Buddhi. Even externally, they cannot move without mind and Buddhi, even to enjoy the senses. So these two faculties of that inner Antakarana are the two which have to help it move anywhere. Like, for example, Chittam is where you collect all the impressions. But the Chittam will not do anything unless the mind goes and collects the information and stores it. Even the Ahamkaram also is helpless if the mind and Buddhi are not active in collecting all the information and bringing it. So the same way, so the idea is the Chittam by itself doesn't move, but the mind moves and takes it in different paths. So that my understanding is that the Antakarana is that concept of who we are. That concept, that separated concept of who we are, is the inner instrument with which we are all operating. But we are only able to operate because we are using the mind to go out into the world. The mind uses the senses and gathers information and runs after this or that. So mind is a very important bullock which drags us everywhere. And along with that travels this Buddhi, and hopefully that helps, and direct the journey. But when these two are not the operational aspects of this Antakarana, is my understanding. Okay, the journey is towards the Atman. Now the journey which we are all making is towards the Vishya Vasana. We are going towards the world. So we have to turn around. It should be a 180-degree turn, and we should go towards the Atman. So that journey is the journey of meditation. And I think Swami is sort of setting the stage to take us on that journey. Okay, so this separated being has to go and merge with the Atman. That Atman is actually within. And I think that journey is what Swami is talking about. That's my understanding, limited understanding, but I will let anyone else comment, please. Saira.
But it makes sense. Thank you, Saira.
Saira, as a little follow-up on that one, how to pull the string in the right way, we will be studying in the upcoming days. Yeah, is my understanding correct? How to pull the string. Swami has told in this the second paragraph that we have to pull the string in a proper way, then only it will move forward to reach the destination. So we are going to study how to pull the string in a proper way in the upcoming sessions. Yeah?
Yes, Auntie.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Does anyone have anything to say? I think we have sort of come to the end of the time. But I'm open to anyone sharing any thoughts, questions. Even if we don't discuss the answers, we can all contemplate, reread what we have read, and come back next week. But I will open it up for any comments, thoughts, any questions, so on. Saira.
Brother, thank you very much for your last explanation. Okay, it is very good. It is very helpful and very elaborative. Thank you for that one. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone. I think we have enough things to meditate for 1 week till we gather back again. I'm sure Swami will be guiding all of us, just the way he has made all the resources available for our study circle, so that he knows they are making sincere efforts, and I will do everything possible to support it. And that's the sense I get. So we will close with Samasta Loka and Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Okay.
Saira. Thank you very much, Manivash. Aniyant, you have something to say? Please go ahead.
Next week we'll discuss about it. As you say, I have to contemplate upon it. There is 1 week, 1 more week for us to contemplate upon the Antakarana and what is the Buddhi, Manas, everything. It's a huge topic Swami has given. So let us concentrate on that.
Sairam. Thank you.
Sairam.
We'll close with Samasta Loka and Shanti, please. Om Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sai